Hey, I'm back already. Well, I'm sorry. Getting distracted already. All right, well, okay, I just videotaped my vinyl collection of Todd Rundgren and Utopia material, and wasn't going to do a video on my CD collection, but I just grabbed a bite to eat, chilled out with my wife for a little while, and I decided I want to do this. So this will probably be actually a lot quicker. So let's just get started. Todd Rundgren fans, of course, what do we start with? Nas. And of course, this is their first album. This is the one with Open My Eyes, that brilliant psychedelic single track that jumps out at you at the start of this album, and it's a fantastic track. This also has the original version of Hello, It's Me, which, if you ask me, is inferior to Todd's Something Anything recording. I mean, you know, how do you beat that? That's a really good recording. But here it is in an earlier version, and it's good. It's a good song, right? There's other great stuff on here too. It's not an album I listen to a lot, but Open My Eyes is a good reason to turn this on. Anyway, that's Nas right there. What's next? Nas. So here's their second album. Not Wrong Long is on here. Forget All About It. Just go right. There's some good stuff on here too. It's not an album that I listen to all that much, but it's their second record, and I have it. Rhino Records. What's next? Nas 3. Okay, I think this album has, yeah, this is the one with Loosen Up. Loosen Up's a cool track on here. These guys start, they're busting on Tighten Up, which starts off kind of loose and comes together. I can't remember who recorded Tighten Up. Archie something, I think. Anyway, these guys start off tight and then just the song falls apart because they're loosening up. It's a great piece of work, man. This is, I think, mostly outtakes from the second album, and maybe some demos and stuff that they called together to put this album out. I think that's what this is, if I remember correctly. So it's I mean, these guys were already on the way, on their outs when they released this. So, and what comes after that? This is Nas, Open Our Eyes anthology, and I believe this has everything from the first 3 albums, and it also has some other tracks, I think, on here. I think there's some other stuff on here. Yeah, Train Kept a Rollin', previously unreleased on CD. Yep, plus all 3 US only albums for Screen Gems, plus Train Kept a Rollin'. And of course they got sleeve notes and all kinds of great pictures of all kinds of great stuff. So this is actually, if you don't have any of Nas's albums, this is a great way to get everything plus Train Kept a Rollin'. And then there's this album, which I believe this is a bootleg, and although the recordings are actually pretty clear, called 13th, what is it, 13th and Pine, And I think this has a bunch of demos and alternate tracks, alternate recordings. It's not, I don't even think I've ever played this thing. Maybe I played it once. Maybe I played half of it once. But it's one of those things that you have hanging around in your collection. You get it and you go, man, I'm glad I got this. And then for some reason, maybe you don't play it. One of these days, I'm just going to go, I got to check this out. And I'll probably be, wow, this is cool. This is cool. Or maybe I'll be like, wow, this sucks. I hope not. It's Todd and Naz. But anyway, I have it. And there's a lot of material on here, but I don't think I ever really listened to it. So now we get to the meat. We get to Todd Rundgren. This is the official release. When the first album came out, it had 12 tracks. I think this is the album that had 12 tracks on it. And then they re-released it with 10 tracks. And all the official releases have 10 tracks. So this is the old Rhino, the Bearsville release that is distributed by Rhino. And Rhino's got their name on Todd's catalog. So anyway, I have this album on LP. I got the CD as well. Here is, of course, the Ballad of Todd Rundgren. And this has 12 tracks. Okay, this is a re-release. This came out, when is this? In 2011, was it? Yeah, that's what it looks like. 2011. Edsel, in conjunction with Bearsville Records. Edsel put this out. I don't know why Rhino has nothing to do with it. Maybe they license ran out. I don't know. But anyway, Edsel put this out, and this is a great double disc of Runt and the Ballad of Todd Rundgren, because it has a bunch of extra tracks, including the tracks that were on the original, the alternate version of Runt, which had 12 tracks. There's the Broke Down and Busted, the intro, There Are No Words. There's Believe in Me, an alternate mix. We Gotta Get You a Woman, alternate mix. Hope I'm Around, an early version of that. And then it's got Devil's Bite, alternate mix. Baby Let's Swing, full-length version of Baby Let's Swing. I think that's one of the ones that was on the alternate run. And then Say No More, which was on the original run, I believe. On the alternate version, I should say. And then Birthday Carol, the alternate mix. And then on the Ballad of Todd Rundgren, there are bonus tracks: Broke Down and Busted, live at Carnegie Hall, Believe in Me, Be Nice to Me, and Hold Me Tight, which were live broadcast on WMMR out of Philadelphia on June 30th, 71. So there's a whole bunch of extra material on here, which, I mean, this is really the way to go if you're going to collect everything. I think that the mastering is fine on this. If I'm mistaken, maybe if somebody knows, because I have listened to this, it sounded fine to my tin ears, but years of smashing cymbals has messed up my hearing, so maybe it sounds like shit to other people. I don't know. It sounded fine to me. And then, of course, after that is Something Anything. This isn't anything special. This is the standard release on Rhino Records. Of course, what do you say about this? It's great. It's good to have it on CD. Next one, A Wizard, A True Star. What else do you say about this? It's friggin' great. Here's a Japanese release of A Wizard, A True Star, and if I remember correctly, there was a flaw in the mastering. I think maybe somebody was touching the tape or something, the tape reel, and there's some kind of a sloppy edit there somewhere in that mix. And it's my understanding that on this Japanese release, that flaw is not there. That this is a better master. So, but it's nice to have these. I love these little miniature LP release types things. You can see it's actually a gatefold. And as a matter of fact, let me pull this sucker out of here. This is one of those K2 high definition releases too. Here's the strip, right? I wonder what compelled the Japanese to put these things on there, and now people who are fanatical like I am, like I'm a maniac, I always want my Japanese releases to have that little OBI strip, and I don't even know what the hell it advertises what's in there, but where'd they come up with that idea? It's a great idea, but where'd they come up with it? Okay, here you go. Like the LP, here you go. It's got that gatefold, and it was fun to get this because there's all kinds of little additional things in here. A lot of it's in Japanese. I'm going to read that later after I learn Japanese. Here's some, this is just advertising crap. All right. Here's the disc. Wizard, A True Star. For sure that this had that little band-aid in there, but looks like I was wrong. No band-aid. So anyway, yeah, it looks like I was wrong about that. I thought this miniature thing had that band-aid in there, but all right, anyway, I got the original LP with the band-aid, so I guess I can live with that. So we'll put this back. Let's put it all back together. Let's waste some time. Back in there, will you? Okay, guys, it's back in. Spine in Japanese, so you don't know what the hell it is until you pull it out. Here's what I'm missing in my LP collection, Todd. Double album set. And yeah, this has an LP worth of tunes, and how about a little fanfare? Spark of Life. A Dream Goes On Forever. For that song alone, you gotta have this, unless you have it on a compilation. A Dream Goes On Forever. What a great song. It's a good album. I got to get it on LP. And, okay, here's Todd Rundgren's Utopia, the very first. Initiation on CD. I remember when I was buying all these albums and I would put them on CD for the first time, because Todd Rundgren's catalog was one that I really wanted to get a complete collection of it on CD when CD started coming out back in the early 90s. And man, I was pretty aggressive about it. And I had every reason to be, because I was living by myself in Richmond, Virginia, displaced from New Jersey, following my job. So I needed something to listen to, and I had plenty to listen to. Here's Faithful. Okay. Here's Ra. Oops, Wrong Planet. Yeah, let's see what the numbers say. 69, it's, yeah. Here is, what is this called? Hermit of Mink Hollow, of course. What is it? It's 5:25 in the morning and I'm making this video. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I just feel like doing it. That's why I'm doing it. Back to the bars. Here is Utopia live at the old Waldorf. This is, I guess, his archive. The San Francisco nightclub. Check out that track listing, if you can. Yeah, the archive series on Esoteric. And this is live. It's actually a bootleg, live in Mink Hollow. Actually, I tried playing this a couple of years ago, and it was kind of distorted and skipping all over the place. So I have a feeling that this disc is suffering from rot, or for whatever reason deteriorated to the point where I can't play it anymore. When I first got it, I played it and it was pretty good. It's from a broadcast. It was recorded for broadcast but was never aired. The following set was later broadcast on local FM radio. Well, I don't understand that, because that sounds like a contradiction. But anyway, August 10th, 1978. It was at the Texas Opry House in Houston on August 10th, 1978. And we may never hear it again because this disc is shot, I guess. Here's one I didn't even open up yet. Again, the archive series. You can see there. And it's live at the Electric Ballroom in Milwaukee. I picked this up not too long ago, and you can tell that I wasn't in a big hurry to play it because it's still sealed. So one of these days I'll rip open this wrapper and put it on. This here is a Japanese compilation. This came out in 1988. Yeah, I don't see the actual date on here, but it was the year 1988 that they released this in Japan. What a cover! Jesus Christ, what did they do to his face? No OBI strip, but It's I got this a long time ago, and I got it because it had the single version of Wolfman Jack with Wolfman Jack on it. So I spent some bucks, a couple of bucks to get this. Actually, it wasn't too expensive if I remember correctly. It was probably about 10 bucks. Adventures in Utopia. Deface the Music by Utopia. Then Healing by Todd Rundgren. Okay, that album has that single inserted in it, and of course the CD tacks on those songs, Time Heals and Tiny Demons, at the end of the album. It tacks it on, which was beautiful. That's the way to do it. And then the ever popular Tortured Artist effect. Nothing extra there. That's good to have. Then there's oh, wait a minute. Let's get it right. Swing to the Right. And then the self-titled Utopia record, now on Rhino instead of Network. And of course all 15 tracks are on there, so it's good. It's a good pop record. What's next? Okay, now we start getting to the fun stuff that I have. This is a soundtrack for Undercover, and this has a whole bunch of Todd incidental music that Todd created for the movie, some of which is really pretty cool. It's pretty good stuff. And it's got some tracks from TSOL, Wednesday Week, Agent Orange, Wednesday Week, Golden Personnel. Okay, but it does have some tracks that he wrote. Undercover, Panic Number 1, Looking Out, Undercover, Going South, Chest Shaving, No Smoking, Undercover at Nellie's, Sitting on It, Lucas Gets Lethargic, Chef Gets Serious, The Keys in the Flower Pot, always check the flower pot, and Finale. That's 11 tracks that Todd created for the movie. All right, so oh man, it's kind of hard to show that without all that. And you know what? This might be backwards too, so we'll find out, I guess. Anyway, Undercover, soundtrack that Todd wrote some incidental music on. If you're a big Todd fan and you're a completist like I am, you might want to get it. It's interesting music. Here's Oblivion again. Point of View again. Oh, I believe Man of Action is on here. It's track 11. I believe it's an extra track on here. Man of Action. And oh, and here's Oblivion, Point of View, and some trivia. That's right. Trivia was the compilation of Oblivion and Point of View, and there were a couple extra tracks on there. Man of Action's one of them, and Monument is another, and I think Fix Your Gaze is also an extra track. I think there's three tracks that are extra tracks. So this is this compilation. If you like that Oblivia and Point of View or POV, this is the one to get because you can get some extra material if you're into that sort of thing. This is a CD that I burned from the Grotgazer VHS tape. Grotgazer was something that Todd developed with David Levine, and I burned it to oh yeah, this is the CD, so this is just the audio, but it had these kind of like ambient, it's 4 ambient tracks, and it has some weird visual stuff that was going on. So you put the tape on, I guess you just do some opium or something, and you watch this video and listen to this ambient stuff, and you're supposed to see God or something. Todd is God, so right? So what I did was I just burned the soundtrack to a CD, and here it is. Here is, oh, and this was, when was this? 86, I think it was. 85 or 86 when he did this. Well, anyway. It's Todd's Ambient EP. And then there's this. Acapella. Then there's this. The King Biscuit release. And this was at, actually this is a compilation of 3 different locations. Bismarck Theater in Chicago back in 85. Is it 85? It's hard to see. Schaefer Music Festival back in 77. And the Bottom Line back in 78. So it's actually 3 different performances called together on this disc. I guess King Biscuit owned all those recordings and put it out. And then here it is, one of the first CDs I ever owned. And man, this is a great album. And of course, like I said, Two Little Hitlers is on here. It's not on the LP, the vinyl record, but it's on here. And here's a little CD single from that record. Has The Want of a Nail, Fidelity, and I Love My Life. See, if they put Two Little Hitlers, well, actually it's on the CD, so. But anyway, all 3 of these songs are on the record, but I just thought that was too cool, and I had to have a copy of it. Here's Todd Rundgren live at the Ritz, another boot. I got this because I was at the show with the girl I was dating at the time, and man, that was a great show. Back in August 13th, 89. This was a great, excellent show. And as a matter of fact, I think this CD is also suffering from rot. I don't think it is playing anymore. Here's Second Wind. And Second Wind, okay. Second Wind, when it was released, it's got 10 tracks, and there were 2 tracks that sort of segued together. Who's Sorry Now? No, The Smell of Money, and If I Have to Be Alone. They sort of segued one into the next with applause. that obscured the beginning of If I Have to Be Alone. So I got two copies, those copies of those songs. I got them without any applause, and I included them. I burned another disc with the whole album, but I put those two songs in the mix so that there was no segue from one to the next. I didn't want that applause obscuring the beginning of If I Have to Be Alone. That's a beautiful piece of music. There's a lot of really good stuff on here. But it's a weird album because a lot of the music is from some sort of a play. Some kind of a off-Broadway something. And then I added a few more tracks from, they were demos that are on the Japanese CD Up Against It that you'll see shortly. Because that's right here, Up Against It. Now this is Japanese only release. And it's got different versions of songs like The Smell of Money, If I Have to Be Alone, Parallel Lines. So there's a whole bunch of other tracks on here that I don't think are anywhere else. I think the material on here is inferior to what was released on Second Wind and on Nearly Human. But being a completist, I got it. And it was actually pretty expensive. But I got it anyway. All right. Here's Redux 92 live in Japan. All right. Not much to say about that, actually. All right. Here's Todd's rap album, No World Order. This is a Japanese release. And it took me a while to get used to this. This came out, what, in 92 or 93? 93. January 93, actually. It took me a while to get used to it, man, but I love this album. And it's all the songs basically segue from one into the next. It's really just one big long piece of music with all kinds of cool sound effects and stuff. This is a Japanese version of No World Order Light. It's got alternate mixes of 4 or 5 of the songs that are on the album. It's got 8 different tracks. So there's like Fastest Christ radio version and broken version, and it's got a couple of versions of Day Job on it. I think it's worth having. I like having these alternate versions. This is another version of, oh, wait a minute. You know what this is? No World Order version 1.01, and it's a Japanese release. This is No World Order Light. And it has, the Japanese release has 8 tracks, kind of like an EP, I suppose. Well, like a short album. This has 10 tracks, and it's got different alternate mixes. Okay? And this is an American release. This has this has No World Order. It's a double CD compilation. No World Order, and then some bonus alternate mixes that were available on a Japanese CD single, which, oh yeah, happen to have. Where is that? There it is. Almost forgot about this. No World Order. It's got the Yokohama morning mix and the Yokohama night version. Okay. But this compilation has those 2 tracks on it. Does it have both? Oh yeah, it sure does. And then it has all the material from those other two, like No World Order 1.01 and No World Order Light. So this compilation has all the mixes and just a couple of other tracks that I don't believe are available elsewhere, and the two from here. All right. Now, Rock Gazer. Oh, this might be the DVD I burned. Oh no. And this is just another version of Rock Gazer, which I should put together with the other one. All right, now we're getting to the stuff that I don't even know if is available on LP. If it is, I'd like copies of it, but I don't think that this is. This is Todd's TRI period, where he went interactive, TR interactive. And The Individualist is a fucking great record, man. Every song on here I think is fantastic. And this actually has, I think you can put this in your computer and you can pull stuff up. I haven't bothered to do it. I think there's a separate disc that's a CD-ROM. I never did get it. I think what you can do is you can put that on your computer and you have a bunch of individual tracks for the songs, and you can do your own mixes. That would have been fun to do. So maybe I blew it. I probably should have got that, because I like playing around with songs by maybe re-editing them, maybe extending them with loops, maybe extending the fade out if there's a fade, repeating a verse or something to extend it. I do that all the time. But anyway, it's a great record. Here's the Japanese version. There's no difference at all. There's no extra tracks on this Japanese release. Then Todd put this out with a twist. And we went back to Todd Rundgren. He put this out in 96 or 97. And initially I didn't want to get this. This is a bunch of his, songs that were re-recorded in a bossa nova fashion. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I wasn't into bossa nova a whole lot at the moment, and I was thinking, what the hell is he doing? Bossa nova, what the hell is that? When I went and bought this, finally bought it, and put it on, it turned into one of my favorite albums that he's ever released. This bossa nova stuff is awesome. And these are really great recordings. So there, I learned something fast. And this is a compilation that I've made. It's the With a Twist album, but it also included a version of a bossa nova version of Love of the Common Man that he put out later in the year. Maybe it was the following year. Bluebird is Dead, which is a Jeff Lynne cover, which kind of a stretch calling it bossa nova, but it's nice. A really great recording. And then 3 versions of songs that were on the bossa nova album, on With a Twist album, but they're instrumental versions. Love is the Answer, Fidelity, and Hello It's Me. And so I ended up with a 65-minute long disc. Now Todd, a little bit later, because I joined his I joined his club when he went TRI, and he mailed out, I believe, only 2 discs of material when joining that club, and that's TRTV Volume 1, and it's got Aliens in the Family, The Surf Talks, Hit Me Like a Train, Mary and the Holy Ghost, and Cast the First Stone live in Poughkeepsie. Cast the First Stone is from from which album is that? No World Order. So so there's some unique material on here that's exclusive to this disc. I don't think it's ever yet been released elsewhere. And then I don't know if it was a few months later. Oh man, I can maybe check the timestamp on that, because this mailer, the CD just showed up in a mailer just like this, in this mailer. And then of course you rip open the side and you pull out the disc, and let's find out what's on this disc. See, a little gatefold, and Where Does the Time Go? Another classic pop song by Todd. It's one of the perfect pop songs that, one of the many perfect pop songs that Todd has written and recorded. Where Does the Time Go? And then Red Dwarf Pilot, Love of the Common Man, and a song called Jerk. Todd released a little bit later, I think a year or 2 later, he put this out called One Long Year. And there, some of the songs on these 2 discs are on there, but not all the material's on there. I mean, both of these club, I guess you'd call them fan club discs, have unique material on them. This has the song Where Does the Time Go on it, but the version on here is a slightly different mix. It's got a little bit less stuff on it. He overdubbed a few more things, like some backing vocals, and put that on here. So the version on here is actually unique to this disc. And yeah, Love of the Common Man is on here as well as here. And Cast the First Stone, I think, is no, Mary and the Holy Ghost. That's on here as well. That's on this first club disc. And Hit Me Like a Train is on here as well. So there's actually a lot of, yeah, Hit Me Like a Train, Mary and the Holy Ghost. Surf Talks is unique. Oh no, Surf Talks is on here as well. And here. So there's 3 songs that are on here that are on this disc. 2 songs that are on here that are on this disc. So, but I know that at least one song has a different mix, so maybe the other ones do too that I didn't notice. Anyway, I can only imagine that these are actually pretty valuable, because it's pretty rare, I would think. So anyway, that's what I got so far. Let's put this in like this. Let's put it away. Good stuff. Hey. Here's a Japanese only release that came out in 2000, I think it was. Somewhere, Anywhere. And these are all unreleased or very rare tracks. It's got like Be Nice to Me, Open My Eyes, Utopia, Broke Down and Busted. It's got, I think these are mostly live tracks, and then it's got Something Anything promos. There's like 4 different promos on here. Do Ya by Utopia. And there's 4 different sequence tracks, little pieces of music that he put out. It's like a real oddity, that thing. And it was not cheap because it's Japanese, but of course I got it because I had to have it. Here is, oops. Here's another release of, another Japanese release, a compilation of lost albums, demos and lost albums is the name of this, and it's a double disc set. It's got the first CD's got, it's loaded with demos. Umbrella Man is on here, but it's the demo version. I talked about that in my earlier video, that the single, there's a single B-side version of Umbrella Man with Kasim singing the lead on this demo. Todd sings the lead. It's exactly the same backing track. And both are excellent because they're both excellent singers, so what are you going to do? And then disc 2 has 2 lost albums, Froggy When a Pumpkin, and Disco Jets. I gotta say, when I listened to the material on here, it was okay. It wasn't spectacular. Maybe it's something that'll grow on me, I don't know. Maybe the reason those 2 albums got lost is because the material wasn't so great. But at least I have it. So if I want to listen to it, I can check it out. Here's an album that was not one of my favorite releases by, I don't think it's really an album by Todd, it's more maybe a compilation of almost like a tribute album, because it's got a whole bunch of other people performing Todd songs on here. So actually quite a cast of people. You got Edgar Winter, Steve Stevens, you got Richie Kotzen, Jeff Baxter, Tony Levin. He's on Bang on the Drum All Day, featuring Tony Levin. You'd think that it might feature some kind of a bass line, but anyway, Tony's on that song. Gary Hoey, Vivian Campbell on Drive, Derek Sherinian on Emperor of the Highway. That's a 1.5 minute long tune. You got Dweezil Zappa doing Time Heals. Now that I don't think I bothered hearing that yet, and I probably should check that out. The Dweez on Time Heals. You got Bruce Kulick on Compassion, and you got Steve Lukather on Tiny Demons. Those last 3 tracks from Healing, from Todd's Healing album, those are great tracks anyway, so that would be those would be good to hear. Here's Todd Rundgren, Reconstructed, and this is an album that I have to admit is really hard for me to listen to. I don't know if I'm ever going to get through it. It's all literally reconstructed songs that reconstructed Todd recordings, but doesn't do it for me. Here's the bootleg series, live at the Forum in London, '94. 2-disc set, good stuff. Live at the Forum in '94, a re-release. It's exactly the same thing as this. Here's Songs for the Material World. This is just a compilation that is a George Harrison tribute. And Todd does While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And I'm keeping it with the Todd collection because that's primarily what I got this album, was for Todd's contribution. Anyway. Well, here's Liars. This came out in 1994. I'm sorry, 2004. And this has to be one of my favorite Todd records. Every song on here is brilliant. It's fantastic. I know that there is a double album set on vinyl. It was released in 2 countries. I think it was released domestically here, and I think it was released in England as well. Maybe not England, somewhere else. But anyway, I would love to get a copy of that on an LP and add it to this collection. Jesus, that'd be sweet. But these songs are fantastic. This is the same album, the Japanese release, and the edits of most of the songs on this album are slightly different than on the American release, which I just showed you earlier. But the thing to get is this, because this is a dual disc. Side 1 has the original stereo mix, and I believe it's identical to the American release. This is a domestic release. Side 2 has the entire record in surround sound. And the mixes, besides being in surround sound, some of the mixes are extended. So you actually have, longer versions. Some of the songs on the American release, on the original American release album, they actually segue one into the next. On here, you get each song is one track. There's no segue one into the next tune. And some of the songs are longer versions. And the mix, the surround mix is awesome. I don't have my surround sound set up right now, but this would probably be one of the first things I play if and when I set that up again. And this is actually an 11-track version of Liars Remix that I put together using loops and some instrumental versions of 3 or 4 of the songs that he released on a DVD. What I was able to do was make extended versions of 11 of the tracks that he released on the the Liars album, and it was just a fun thing for me to do. I shared them with some people and got some real good feedback on them. It was a vanity thing, and it was an exercise, and it was because I liked these songs so much. I wanted to extend them, some of them anyway, and had fun doing it. So this is just some kind of thing that I did for myself. This is Liars Live. Somebody sent me a double CD set of a performance on June 3rd of 04 when Todd performed live. And man, this was nice to have, man. It's nice to have this. It was a real good sounds like a soundboard recording, nice and clear. So I didn't do any fancy packaging with this. I just put it together like this, and this is what I got. Here's Arena. Arena's okay. This came out when? 2007? Shit, I can't read. I can't read this. 2007, 2008, maybe it was 2006. I can't remember. But anyway, this is, it's not an album that I play a lot. Probably should crank this up one time. But it's Arena. It's like, it's kind of a silly concept for Todd, man, but he did it. Like arena, like big, loud arena songs that you want to hear a rock band play in an arena. I don't know. That's a silly concept to me. Yeah. Then Todd released Todd Rundgren's Johnson. I wonder if he thought of that after Howard Stern put out Private Parts. Howard Stern's Private Parts. Todd Rundgren's Johnson. And this is in honor of, I can't remember. It's like a bunch of blues material. So it's his, like a blues album. And this is actually a release from New Zealand. When this was released initially, it only came out in New Zealand. And I actually got in contact with a guy who lived in New Zealand, sent him a bunch of money, and he sent me a bunch of copies, and I mailed them out to people at basically at cost. I wasn't trying to make a profit on it, but they were freaking expensive because of the damn shipping from New Zealand. Anyway, he has since, I believe he has since released it elsewhere. And I think that the mastering was probably better because it was sloppy. The editing on this version, on this release out of New Zealand, was very sloppy. One or two of the tracks are not indexed properly. So if you hit the index to go forward, you're starting right at the very beginning of the song instead of in front of the song. I don't know what's going on over there in New Zealand in the water. Okay. Here's a reproduction again. I think this is the same thing with oh, this is something different. This is something different. These are songs produced by Todd. And yeah, because Dear God is on here. 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad is on here. There's Meatloaf. Yeah, this is different. And yet, I don't listen to this either. I can't remember. I think there's other artists. He did, I think other artists did songs that were produced by Todd. So it was in honor of his production duties, I guess. This one came out in 2013, State. This is a special version that has 2 discs. You got State on the first disc, and then Todd Rundgren with the Metropole Orchestra. This was in Australia, I believe, right? No, I'm sorry, Amsterdam. And it's actually a DVD, I believe. And you know what? This might actually be a CD and not a DVD. The DVD was actually, there was a visual version of the Metropole Orchestra, his performance at the in Amsterdam. It was pieced together by a bunch of cell phone footage. Somebody must have went nuts putting that together. They got the sound and synced up all these different cell phone shots and did a great job. Here's Todd Rundgren's Johnson live. This is another special package that, what is it, Esoteric put this out? Shit. Esoteric, yeah. I believe Esoteric put this one out as well. Yep. And Esoteric, well, every time he was, Todd would put an album out, Esoteric would put a special package together with, you know, another disc, either a CD or a DVD. This is Todd live doing, is it Eric Johnson? God damn, can't remember. Anyway, it's a CD DVD package with Todd performing live, doing the tour for Johnson's Live. This is Global. This is one of my lesser favorite albums, but this has another special package with the album on disc 1, and disc 2 is a DVD, him performing 21 tracks live on tour for this, so can't go wrong there. And that is something I burned. Here's the Rundgren's CD. This is the Japanese release, which comes with an extra track, or Amen, Aftermath, I believe it's the last track on there. That is the extra track, which would probably make sense. Okay. And finally, White Knight. This is the Japanese release with a bonus track. It's a live bonus track from 2015. It's One World. He was performing, oh, I don't know where he was performing. I just can't see what it says. I can't read. I cannot see this tiny print. But anyway, this is the Japanese release with one extra track. If you saw the previous video of the my vinyl collection of Todd's stuff, you saw the funky black and white album that he released, that special pressing with special design on the record. And now this is An Evening with Todd. This was a full concert on CD and DVD. This was live at the Ridgefield. The Ridgefield Playhouse, Ridgefield, Connecticut, that's it. And this was in December 15th, 2015. I think this is another Esoteric. Oh no, Purple Pyramid. I take it back. But wait, there's still more. Todd had an archive series early on, and I was trying to keep up with that. I think these were released back in the 90s. And this is live in New York City in '78. This is the very first one, Archive Series Volume 1. Japanese only release. This is Volume 2. This is live in Tokyo, '79. Todd loves Tokyo, and Tokyo loves Todd. This is it Volume 3? This is another Japanese only release. I don't know if it's Volume 3, but this is live in Chicago in '91. And now these huge box sets that were coming out in the last 12 years or so. This is Todd Rundgren, For Lack of Honest Work. There was a second edition that, or second pressing, second edition with different artwork that came out. This came out first. And for fucking God's sake, I can't read. The writing is so small. You got to actually shrink yourself to read this stuff. But this is a 3 CD set of material, basically mostly live. If it's not all live, it's mostly live. And a lot of it's kind of low fidelity. It's not the best quality. But man, when this came out, I went nuts and said, oh, I have to have that. And picked it up. This is, again, I can't read. Who put this out? I can't read it. I can't tell. Anyway, beautiful set. Nice little booklet that talks about Todd and talks about his recordings on this. This is Todd Rundgren, Boxo Todd. This Purple Pyramid put this out, and this came out in 2016, not even that long ago. And this is Todd Rundgren and the Hello People, live from Philly, 1971. The second disc is Todd Rundgren and the Hello People, Ultrasonic Studios, 1972. And then Todd Rundgren live from Counterpart Studios in Cincinnati. And that's November 11th, 1973. Boxo Todd. Nice. 3-disc set. So there's 2 3-disc sets right there. My God, another box of Todd. This is Todd at the BBC. This is a 4-disc set. It's 3 CDs and a DVD. This has Todd Rundgren, BBC Radio 1 in concert, 1972. It's an all mono. BBC Old Grey Whistle Test, 1975. 2 tracks, Real Man and The 7 Rays. That's in mono as well. Then there's disc 2, BBC Radio 1 in concert, 1975. Freedom Fighters, Mr. Triscuit, Something's Coming, The Last Ride, Sunset Boulevard, Le Fil International, Heavy Metal Kids, The Wheel, Open My Eyes, Sons of 1984, Do Ya, and Couldn't I Just Tell You. So that's disc 2. Then disc 3 is Todd and Utopia, BBC Radio 1 in concert, 1977. And then disc 4 is a DVD. That's the Old Grey Whistle Test, and from 75, Real Man and the 7 Rays. Then it's got Old Grey Whistle Test, 1978. The Bearsville Picnic, 1977, featuring Sing Ring and the Glass Guitar. And then Old Grey Whistle Test in 1982, which is more of a broadcast of a live show, I believe. And there's some stuff that's was not originally broadcast. The Song of the Viking, Liz Estrada, Time Heals. Time Heals was a, excuse me, Time Heals was a his promotional video. And then he did One World and A Dream Goes On Forever. Good stuff. 4-disc set. And can you believe it? One more Boxo Todd. All Sides of the Roxy. This is a 3-disc set. May 1978, so I think it's just the entire I can't read it. 23rd May 1978. 23rd May 1978. And then another side of Todd. This is actually part of the Todd Rundgren Archive series again, as you can see. But it's a nice 3-disc box set. And then I have some rarities discs that I put together. This has Umbrella Man, Special Interest, God and Me, Men in Metal Machines. Then it's got a whole bunch of other junk on here. Oh, it's got those 3 tracks from the Runt, from the alternate version of Runt. It's got Hammer in My Heart, alternate version. I think that's some kind of an alternate mix that was released on a single. Bunch of rarities on there. Some more rarities discs that I put together that actually duplicate some stuff on there as I was putting these compilations together. Here's more rarities. Oh, one of which is the incidental music to Dumb and Dumber. Todd did the incidental music to Dumb and Dumber, and man, some of it is really good. He's just amazing. He's just Todd. But and that's basically it. Oh, and then there's this CD single that came out when CD singles started coming out in the late 80s and the early 90s. The late 80s this came out, and it was one that I picked up because I just thought this is very cool. 3-inch CD single. But there's no special songs on here. Bang the Drum All Day, I Saw the Light, Can We Still Be Friends, and All the Children Sing. So that's what's on here. It's like a little sampler. So anyway, that's my Todd on CD. I hope you enjoyed it. It's an hour and 12 minutes. You're probably sleeping by now. So anyway, good night. I will see you next time.